All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? Um, I saw this on the forums. I thought it was worth discussing. There's some updates or some future updates uh, worth going over for this. Before I read this, do a little story time for you guys. I wanted to talk a little bit about my PVE bow rotation build, and I feel like it's an inside joke that 90% of the people that have seen it know that it's a joke, like it's supposed to be funny. And then there's like 10% that are taking it seriously and actually think that, I'm trying to make bow competitive in trial situations. Guys, I mean, if you're watching this channel, you know that I just got into trials like in like the last month and a half or 2 months or so. I've beat Sanctum Ophidia, I think 3 times. I've actually beaten Maw more than I've beaten Sanctum Ophidia. Just so we have an idea for how often I've been in there. I don't know much about trials. I don't really want to. I'm not gonna post like actual competitive PVE content because that's not something I know. When I post a build, it's something that I feel confident in, that I feel confident that somebody can actually do and work out. The bow build is actually fun. Like it's actually decent in VMA. Like my first run doing it, I got a 475k score. Is that high? No. But for my first run, never having run the rotation, it's not bad. I think I can get 540. 540 is definitely not bad. Is it going to like be the best score Xbox NA? Of course not, because you're running bow. You're missing out on a bunch of other things. Like I think, like I said, I think most people know this, but when I post the DPS stuff, there's 2 ways to go about doing it. And like I said, like the guy that gave me the inspiration to do it, Cordy on PC, he was using lightweight beast trap and he was running the bow from range. And because, like I said in the video, with long shots you get 12% more damage from range, so all of your dots will do more damage when you're farther away. However, in a trial situation, oftentimes you want to stack on the back end of the boss. The tank flips the boss around, you stack right behind him. The healers give you spell power cure, they give you combat prayer, you get all these other buffs. You want to be close to War Machine. You want to get all the other buffs to boost your overall damage. And so we can't actually stand way off to the side in DPS with a bow build unless basically everybody in the group decides that they're going to run it, and then one of the healers stands there and they heal everybody running a bow build at range. That's the only way it's going to work, and that's not something people are going to do. So you have to play up close and personal if you're going to run this in a trial situation, so that you can get heals, so that you can combat prayer. There are certain mechanics where the boss jumps to the furthest person away. So if you're in Hellross Citadel and you're trying to snipe way behind somebody, the boss is going to jump on you all the time, and basically everybody's going to get mad at you because you're pulling the boss out of the dots. So you have to stack. So because we're playing up close, and that means we can run an execute. Nightblades have an execute, and that's why that's that way. You can get very similar DPS playing at range. Is that what I posted is actually more trial worthy than the other option, because you can stack in a group, you can play up close, you can still play a little bit further away. Like you're gonna have to play it like melee because you do have an execute, but the damage is not bad. Like, can you do DSA with this? Yes. I'm gonna probably convince my buddies to let me take me in a DSA run with it, and maybe I'll stream it on Twitch, and maybe I'll stream it on Twitch, or maybe I'll just post like the boss fights. But I think it's hilarious, and it's a lot of fun to play, and it is a lot of fun to just snipe things. Like I get mad in PvP when I get sniped to death, but in PvE it's completely different. My goal is to actually, it's a dumb goal, but my goal is to actually get DPS high enough to where I can convince somebody to get me in on a Maw run, and then I can jokingly say I sniped my Maw skin. That's my goal, and I'm not there yet. I don't have a good enough rotation yet. I don't think my DPS is good enough to bring into Maw. Plus with Deadly Cloak, like, you're just way more tanky. I don't know if I could survive in there, but that's kind of what I want to do because I think it would be hilarious. But not serious, guys. It's just for fun. If you want to go mess around in VMA with something that's competitive, that's very unique, try it out. Trust me, you'll laugh the first time you start melting bosses with Snipe. Anyway, so that's going to be the end of that little disclaimer. Let's see what ZeniMax has to say for us. Looking back at 2017, 2017 was a huge year for us. We added 2 million more players to the game. This is something that when people talk about this game being dead, it kind of makes me chuckle. Like, a lot of the older players, they quit for a lot of reasons. You know, you quit a game because it gets stale. You know, some people, they push their 5 stars, and when you push 5 stars, you get bored. Trial content isn't super, it's super repetitive, so the end game PvEers got very bored. Maw wasn't working for a long time, so the only fun thing wasn't even working for people. So a lot of people ended up quitting the game because of all these reasons. So a lot of like the players that I remember, they're not playing anymore. But when you go into PvP, there's so many new players all the time. They added a ton of players this year, so I'm not surprised that you know, this is the number that they're saying that they had. You know, when I feel like when I see a group now, like 90% of the players that I see in PvP, I've never seen before. You know, like that's just what it feels like most of the time, which is, it's kind of cool that they were able to bring new blood into an MMO. That's always a concern, that, you know, an MMO just dries out, and they were able to do that, but on the one end, they weren't able to keep the game fresh for, you know, a lot of people. So that's just my opinion. Many of you returned to the game to check it out, and of course many new players started their journey in Tamriel based on the exciting blah blah blah. Talked about Morrowind. Homestead goes live. They talked about Homestead, so all the housing stuff, which is pretty cool addition. Some of the houses out there are amazing. New adventures added in 2017, so they're talking about the new content, the new trial, community events. So these were actually a lot of fun. The community events were a good time. The in-game events were a good time. They need to, I don't know. I was hoping a little bit more for the new helmets and stuff, but they just slightly changed those. That's, I don't know. I feel like they could have gone a little bit farther. But looking forward to 2018. Very happy to say that you can expect 3 more DLCs and a full new chapter for ESO in 2018. Awesome. So another year of ESO. We're not slowing down at all. There's so much to do and explore in Tamriel, and we are very excited to take you to some highly requested areas next year. We officially announced that the first DLC of 2018 just after the first of the year, but here's a small preview. It's a dungeon-based DLC called The Elder Scrolls Online Dragonbones. As the name implies, it is Nord-based in theme, with each of the 2 dungeons expanding upon the lore of that region. Cool. So kind of a Skyrim throwback. Coming with Dragonbones is an update full of quality of life improvements and additions, including at least one long-awaited feature that everyone who cares about their character's appearance will love, in the homestead storage items I talked about earlier. So apparently they're bringing storage. The thing that I heard rumored is you'll be able to change your gear appearance so that you, like if you don't like how Spinners looks, you can change it and still wear Spinners, and so you don't have to wear a costume, which is kind of a cool thing that's going on. They came out with a diary about a month ago. I read through that as well, and they talked about a couple of the changes. I feel like the next patch that's coming out is going to be a lot of balance issues. They're going to be addressing a lot of balance in general from a PvP side, I think. So hopefully they address Warden DPS. Hopefully they address Warden Ultigen. There's a few things that need to be brought up, but yeah. Give you more details in this update when it launches on the PTS very early next year. Cool. So PTS is early, like in January probably. It's not always about new content, of course. We'll be spending some time adding more improvements and fixing any outstanding issues and bugs. Hopefully there's quite a few right now. Stay tuned for the PTS patch notes for updates on those, and obviously keep your comments coming on the forums and elsewhere. We value your feedback and take it very seriously. But yeah, so obviously this is just speculation, but what they're talking about is apparently you're gonna have storage in your housing, which will be pretty cool. So my bank space is getting pretty full, bit annoying. So having storage in a house would be great. It just makes sense that, I mean, it's a house, you should be able to store stuff. That'd be pretty cool. And then being able to switch over gear, so maybe you you know, you don't want to wear the ugly Chokethorn helmet. You know, you actually want something that looks kind of cool, but you don't want to wear a costume. You know, good ideas. And when the balance changes come out, I will, of course, like I always do, I'll read through them and we'll discuss them as they happen, and I'll try and give you guys a sneak preview on what I think is going to be big and what I think isn't going to be, and we'll see if we're right or if we're wrong. So I think that's about it. But yeah, pretty exciting that they're coming out with the DLC basically right away. I mean, it doesn't have a release date, but they're saying early 2018. So I'm guessing the PTS will be in January. So that would be my guess. So PTS in January, maybe a release in February, or February, March for a release. I guess we'll have to see what happens. So yeah, not a big video for you guys this time. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.